Okay, we're on. Fantastic. Mayor's update, folks. Graydon's working on the technology, and we have a guest to start off tonight's show. And we apologize. I know it's been 2 weeks since we've done Mayor's update, so the pent-up demand is incredible. You can feel it bubbling in our community. But our guest tonight is Chief Dave Gregory from the St. Thomas Fire Services. It is. We've been trying for a little while to get Dave on, but we've been very busy. And so honestly, if you have any questions for our fire chief, please go ahead and put them in, and we'll be able to answer those tonight too. But I'm going to ask the chief a few questions to get started. Chief, tell us about you.
Well, I'm a lifelong resident of St. Thomas. I lived in St. Thomas for 55 years. I played all the hockey in St. Thomas, minor hockey, men's hockey, the over 50 league.
And you have the scars to prove
and
that?
I have the scars to prove it. I was a proud member of Special Olympic Sports Spectacular in St. Thomas for 25 years. And did some coaching. My family's still here. My kids still live here. So yeah, I'm a proud St. Thomas resident.
Yeah. So you've got it tattooed on.
Yeah, somewhere.
Right? We know that. Right. But tell us about your role with the St. Thomas Fire Services and how you started there and where you are now.
So I started 28 years ago with St. Thomas Fire Department. I was originally at one of the first ones hired at the Cami plant in Ingersoll, and worked on their emergency response team. And there was an opening for St. Thomas Fire. So I applied for the St. Thomas Fire Department and was luckily hired for St. Thomas Fire Department. So 28 years later, I did the captain role and acting platoon chief. I went to fire prevention for a while, then applied for the deputy's position, was lucky to get the deputy's position. And now I'm the acting fire chief for the time being.
Well, and a great fire service we have in St. Thomas. Look, we're doing the show tonight from the Dennis Redmond fire station on Burwell Road. Was a city event tonight here with Business After 5. A lot of networking happening out in what is normally a busy fire truck bay, but it was great to be here tonight, and always good to be here. Tell us, our community is growing faster than most, and I just returned from AMO, a conference in Ottawa, and we're talking to a lot of communities that are growing. What challenges did that give to you, Dave, as the chief, knowing the community is growing, and what do we have to do about it?
So one of the biggest things right now in the hurdles is the amount of calls we're going on. So we're running about 1,700 calls at this point this year. Normally we run around 2,400 calls for the year. So we're at the 1,700 mark right now. And we are a busy department. When I first started, there was those calls. We do 3 or 4 calls a night. The guys are doing about 10 calls, 15 calls a night. And they're from anything from fire calls to medical calls, anything that's tiered response. So it's putting a real tax on our workers, our trucks, and all of our equipment. But and on top of that, we're training every day too. So the firefighters are getting a full workout right now.
Well, and good on them for what the heavy lifting they've been doing and what we've been doing in our community. And with lots of conversation about how we open the 3rd fire station or how we move forward to protect the new areas of St. Thomas as we grow. We know we're going to be opening up lands we don't currently have. And if you're talking, 1,700 calls between 2 stations, it's 800 per. That's a lot in a day, or in a week, whichever way you look at it. So we'll need to continue to discuss what does it take to maintain that level of safety in our community. But I know that we also, through the city of St. Thomas, voluntarily help out the communities around us, whether it's South Wold or Central Elgin, and we'll go help them at any time at any place. So it's not just our own calls, but we're on call for all.
And we're on call. We have an agreement with Central Elgin for Lyndhurst that we are an automatic aid. So what that automatic aid means is we are the first responders to Lyndhurst. So we set up, we start operations, and then when Lyndhurst or when Central Elgin has a full complement of firefighters, we release our guys and they continue on. And we have the mutual
or stay to help if it needs to be.
Stay to help. And we have a really good working relationship. The fire chief for Central Elgin's a great guy, a good friend of ours, and a co-worker of mine. And we also have mutual aid agreements with our neighbors of Southwold and Talbotville. So and again, Chief MacArthur, he's a great guy too, and we have a good working relationship.
And as we move closer there, if we start the settlement area 1 and start moving to the northwest, area that isn't currently housed at all in St. Thomas. Will we need to change any agreements with Southwold? I mean, I know they're out of Talbotville, and they can probably help us with that area too, but it's the other way around usually.
Yeah, and that's something we'll have to look at, whether we go to an automatic aid with them, because we just had a call last week where we were first on scene, where the call came in on a 911 call from a cell phone, and it populated it was a St. Thomas call, but it was actually a Southwold Talbotville call, and we were first on scene, and we assisted the Talbotville Southwold firefighters, and a great working relationship with them too. So that's something we'll look at in the future, how we can help them, and vice versa, how they can help us in a major emergency.
Okay. For you at home, if you're watching tonight, and I know there's many doing it, please, if you've got any questions for the fire chief, please let us know. It's your show too. We try to do an open forum on Mayor's Update to answer as many questions as you have. If you've got questions not pertaining to the fire chief and you want to ask them for later, please go ahead and do that now too. But Chief, if somebody comes on as a recruited fireman, fire person in your force, tell us a little bit about the training and the certification that needs to take place with that person.
So anybody that comes on now will have to have Firefighter 1 and Firefighter 2 through either a college program or one of the independent fire testing services, such as Festi out of Toronto, and Texas A&M. There's a few out there, and fire colleges, and so, and then they have to have some hazmat, and then once they get in the door and we've hired them, we retrain them to St. Thomas's standard. We do things a little bit different than other departments, how we load our hose, how we fold our salvage covers, and what we do. And to be a St. Thomas firefighter, it's all about being a fit for the community. And we just hired 6 people, and they are great. They're highly trained, and we are very happy and pleased with the new recruits.
Excellent. Do we get any cross recruitment? Like our community is growing at a rapid rate. Is there anybody coming here and saying, I used to be a firefighter in such and such a place, can I be a firefighter in St. Thomas?
Well, that just happened in 2 different instances. We just hired a London police officer. He was working with the London Police Department and wanted to change venues and did the training and is now with us.
That's great.
And the last hire, Michael, he is from the Yukon. So he was a firefighter in Yukon and made the transition to move to St. Thomas. He's originally his family's from Byron, and he lived in the Yukon, and we interviewed him via Skype or Teams, and great interview, and he was happy to move from the Yukon back to St. Thomas.
So we're not only just getting people coming who want to live in St. Thomas, we're finding some of the services we need in St. Thomas through some of those people. Chief, tell us what the St. Thomas firefighters are famous for. I got to tell you, as the mayor, I'm pretty happy with our ability for fire suppression, our how quick we get to fires, how good we are with communities around us. Right?
Well, Mayor, I could sit here all day and take up tons of your time bragging how good St. Thomas Fire Department is. I'm very proud of what we do. We have leading edge equipment thanks to our members of council and city staff. We have the best equipment. We are very highly trained. We train daily. We have a great new training officer. We've ventured into some new areas that other departments, big cities like London and other areas don't have, with our new Lunar device that we just purchased that allows firefighters to have their own thermal imaging camera to go in to do search and rescue. And it's all linked to the Bluetooth. Valuable? It's very valuable. We can track firefighters. That way we won't lose a firefighter in a big event. Right. And we just started something that's never been done in the past. And I saw an opportunity to do this. We now deliver epinephrine for EpiPens for people with allergic reactions. This is something new that's never been done in the city. And this is something we've added to our arsenal of medical training.
Super. So we just keep getting better.
We are getting better all the time.
Chief, is there anything you want the people to know about what the fire services is? I mean, I know a lot of people think, oh, that's a great job. I just get to go to work and lay down and never get up, and then the next day go home. And I know from being the mayor that, and the number of calls you just shared with us, that isn't what happens. in the fire service.
There was a day in the old days where the firefighters would come and they would run 1 or 2 calls a day. Now the guys are running 15 calls in a 24-hour shift. So
Right.
they're
So
constantly,
it's not getting rested, and
it's
the
not
food
getting
sits
rested.
on the table
food
when they
sits
go
on
to
the
go.
table,
Yeah.
and they don't get rested. But in that time of their day, we have to keep on track of our equipment, our trucks. Everything has to be started and checked. And we also have to do training. They have to be up to date on all the training and meet the requirements that we set out every month. And on top of that, they do volunteer work. They reach out to the city. They do the day camps. They do whatever it is that the firefighters
There's
are
no
asked to
kid
do.
that doesn't like
No.
to see a fire truck come
No.
in. So
And we pride ourselves, like you just said earlier, in our response times. Our response times are they're second to none. We pride ourselves in getting out the door in under a minute. When the bell rings, we are assembled into our truck, our gear. The truck's rolling out the door in under a minute, and we're usually responding anywhere in the city from 4 to 6 minutes.
Right. 10 people on site.
Yep.
That type of
Yep.
time. Look, folks, you're pretty safe in the city of St. Thomas.
Very
we
safe.
hope we never have a fire. We hope we never have a reason for our emergency team to go out. But I want to tell you, when they do, you can feel good that St. Thomas is protected and able to do it. Chief, and we're happy to have you on here tonight. It is great. I haven't got it. Look at how good your job you do. Nobody asks you questions. Wait till you see the questions I get. But we want to thank you for letting us use one of the offices here today to start Mayor's Update and make a little more of an introduction to you. Look, we've got some great people working in our community at some pretty great levels, like fire chief or any of our directors, and we're trying to have many more of them on to let people know the staff and the teams in St. Thomas are second to none. I get to smile and make speeches, but the people who do the hard work are the ones that like Dave Gregory sitting beside me. So Dave, thank you for coming and joining us here on Mayor's Update.
I appreciate everything you do for us.
Yes. Well, we're going to carry on with Mayor's Update, and gee, seems like months since we did one, Graydon, but it was only 2 weeks ago. But the show we did 2 weeks ago was the one we had more questions on that show than any show we've ever done. So we're counting on you tonight, and maybe some of you abandoned us because we couldn't do a show last week. With
that's right,
we were 2 different places. We couldn't get the tech to work, and I just finally said, "Look, I need a break too, so let's not do it." But just so you know, I'll start the show tonight. I've just spent the last 3 or 4 days in Ottawa at the Association of Municipalities of Ontario. It's something many mayors and councillors do. I took Councillor Clark and Councillor Herbert with me, and our city manager Sandra Daters-Bear.
Yep.
And
who's on tonight watching? Hi, Sandra.
Oh,
thanks for joining us.
Have you?
Yeah.
And we met with ministers and their subordinates in many direct conversations. And what happens at large conferences like this, also on the sidelines, you run into a whole lot of ministers too. And with my background, I certainly know a lot of them, but I could not be happier having driven home today with Councillor Clark with me so that we could be here at the fire station. We had long conversation in the car about, kind of, is it always go that well? Because it went that well. We met, first thing Monday morning with the Minister of Mental Health, Minister for Mental Health, Minister Michael Tabulo, who's become a great friend of our community. We've been talking a lot about what we can do to establish better detox and such in our community. And I think and the first of all, we'd met only on Zoom for about 1.5 years and finally got to meet him in person. And we had a great friendly conversation about what the future looks like. And Minister Tabulo wants to come to St. Thomas within the next month. And I think we'll have, we'll certainly have him down to see Rail City Lost. He's been quite impressed with what he's heard about what we've been able to do under the supportive housing and the mental health housing at Rail City Loft. So, right?
Yeah. Well, I've always said we have quite an opportunity here with the amount of health professionals, especially in the mental health field, to work on the issues that all of Canada are facing, and now we are starting to face a little bit more here in St. Thomas.
Well, and we really did talk to a lot of other municipalities who are seeing this as a huge growing concern in their community, and we told them what we're already doing with Indwell and some other groups from a mental health and
the most
and
team with the police,
right, and our on the street most teams. You're absolutely right, and they're not even at that point. It was funny talking to to Councillor Herbert this morning. He went to a homelessness seminar and he came out of the room and I said, well, Jim, what'd you get? He said, I get that we're doing a pretty good job because other communities in the room were really are not at the level we're at with where we are with Indwell and some of the housing we've done, the homelessness we've done, the large increase in shelter space we've done. Yeah. So look, we're not blowing our own horn and saying we're already there. We've got lots of work to do, and Minister Tubulo is going to help us with some of it too. So after Minister Tubulo, we talked with John Jakubowski, another old parliamentary friend who's been the member of it's up near Ottawa in the Ottawa.
I can't help you with that one.
Right. Anyway, John was representing the Minister of the Environment, and we said we live in a community, an old community that is very spread out, the city of St. Thomas, and we have a lot of land that we'd love to build housing on or use for other purposes. But because we're an old railway city with so many railways used to run through St. Thomas, and a good industrial city, so many old industries, we've got a lot what we call brownfields, where we're not allowed to just pick up and build. We have to clean the land and in order to build on it. And so some of our developers are asking for help. The city, who owns some of this land, is also asking for help. We'd like to start that next building behind on the Ross Street parking lot for our next Indwell building and really finish what we think we need from a homelessness point of view. But we've got to be able to get some help from the province on the removal of contaminated soils. What a great meeting it was. We have a lot of fun. I'm going to revert back to Minister Tubulo because he brought up to me, it wasn't truly even our package. We had a great package of information we sent to all the ministers and to the province itself, and everybody said what a great job St. Thomas did on preparing. But one of the other things Minister Tubulo brought back, he said, Joe, the last time we talked, you were talking about the cost of harm reduction collection. And he said, I've taken that a couple of places. And I think we've got some information for you on that too, as we go forward with harm reduction. And nobody is ever arguing about harm reduction. We need to ensure that people aren't catching serious diseases from the use of needles and other things. But he said, I want to help you with this. And he said, we've put a team on it. We're really getting there, Joe. So we want you to keep giving us the information you're finding. It shouldn't cost as much as it is on retrieving. And truly one of the problems we have at St. Thomas, we're retrieving a lot of unused harm reduction products. So we really want to find a way to make that better through the health unit and through Minister Tubulo. We're working on making that happen too. So boy, when you go to visit a minister at one of these conferences, and he brings up a topic sure it's pretty high on his mind too. So I mentioned that, and I mentioned John Jakubowski and the brownfields, and then we talked also with the school boards, with the minister from the Minister of Education. We talked about what can we do to help school boards plan schools better. We should look at, as a city, we're planning a lot. St. Thomas is growing well, and we're doing the right things, but we really need the school board to keep up with us. Yeah, absolutely. Right. We don't want more portables. We want schools built when subdivisions are finished or near after when they're finished. And so we asked, what's the ministry's role in helping school boards plan to that degree? Because look, we put our hands up and said, we've got a pretty good strategic plan now. We know that we can build houses for a number of people. We talked about this, 1,000 new people in St. Thomas a year, and how many houses we have to build, and what that means for roads, and what's it mean for water treatment. And when we ask the school board, what's that mean for schools? And they go, oh yeah, we'll let you know. Right? Or we'll let you know how many portables are coming to the schools you already have. And we said, not sufficient enough. We'll live for today, but how do we get to having schools that are ready to go when the population shifts? And they're going through a number of studies at the ministry right now, but they really are want the school board's help, like the Thames Valley School Board in our time, to plan that same thing and get the plans for success to the minister earlier, so we can do. So it's a great open conversation, no conclusion, but a great open conversation that cities are here to help. we'll share with you our information on growth. And we share it here on Mayor's Update. So we will continue to do it, right? Let's make that our goal to share what we can with the school boards to grow more and to
Makes sense.
and to be better. So look, it's a fun time in Ottawa, and it was fun to have a couple of good counselors there with me, and not that they're any are bad.
Now, did you take them to any of your old haunts? Because I know you've been there for several years previously.
Right. I did not really get out to visit any of my old friends in Ottawa. I saw a number of staff people who would normally be there, who work there all the time. And it was funny enough, I mean, in the minister's bear pit session yesterday, where all the ministers from the Ontario government are there, and you get up and ask any questions you want. Well, 5 of them are old colleagues of mine from the federal government. So I think there is some advantage. We talked about this a lot, but there's some huge advantage to a mayor that has got some connections at both levels of government.
100%, yeah.
Some of this funding has to come from them. It can't just come from the taxpayers in the city of St. Thomas. So we have to do that well too.
Absolutely. And I think like what you've been mentioning too, with the track record in terms of like housing, building more houses in our community and getting that all set up for success in our community has been absolutely fantastic. And if we can have a track record towards that, maybe we can get more funding from the different levels of government.
Well, agreed. And you have to show that you're ready. I mean, you have to be prepared. And that's what St. Thomas has done, which is why we already have the Rail City Loft and the Queen Street building with our new fire hall in it. We should have mentioned that with the fire chief tonight. Opening, we think April-ish, 45 supportive housing units there. That removes a lot more homeless from our streets. So, and then, we would like to do the next build beyond that. And that's the Ross Street parking lot or the Center Street parking lot. It's the parking lot behind Destination Church and, kind of at the corner of Ross and Center. It's a city-owned lot that we think we could build on it and build high and build some more supportive housing units and fairly quickly. Can we afford to do it all as a city? No, but we will if we have to. But it will mean other things we might not do, right? And so it would be, we have to, obviously, I'll share with all, it's a lot less expensive if the city already owns the land and we move forward on it. That lot also still has some remediation, some brownfield remediation will need to be done. It's not happening starting tomorrow, but I hope it's happening starting soon. We have to finish the job we've started with Indwell and with our own building. And look, let's not forget the YWCA and the Youths Unlimited, who also handle homelessness sheltering for us, and our own shelter. The inn has been running at a pretty good capacity this summer, not over capacity, but pretty full. And we need to be ready for winter with as much housing as we can. Look, talking to Minister Tabulo about mental health, we all assured he wants to see Rail City Loft because he loves the success story we're starting to hear out of there. You can't just do 4 walls and put somebody in. You've got to add the treatments that go with it. And then we quickly move people into the availability of housing on their own. Yeah. But it can't start with just, here's an apartment, bye. Right. So we're really working hard. There's lots happening. Right.
Got a question in here from Sean Denier.
Yes.
He says, ask the downtown businesses.
Right.
I'm assuming he means what they think about this. Let's go door to door in the higher tax bracket communities instead of hiding it from them.
Well, we do Mayor's Update every Wednesday. I'm not sure what we could be hiding. We've at every council meeting where we talk about this, there's the availability to put the message out there. We talk a lot about homelessness, mental health support, detox, and rehab in our community. So I get it. I'm a former chair of the Downtown Development Board, and I still sit on the Downtown Development Board, and we certainly have had lots of conversation. I'm not saying everybody agrees with everything we're doing, right? With the 100 by names list homeless in our community in the downtown, but we're doing it as fast as we can do to lower that number and service as many people into housing as possible. From there, we can better treat them as citizens of St. Thomas. Yeah. I've learned a lot in my 4 years as mayor that I did not perhaps know the extent of this problem or what it would, how hard it would be to do.
Yeah.
But with connections that I have in other levels of government, we've been able to move this forward pretty quickly.
Yeah. And I can say, as a downtown business owner, it has gotten better over the past 4 years as these housing initiatives have gotten underway. But the problem is it takes time and it takes support and it takes money, and the money has to be there.
Right. And so that's where we get the help from the province, the support from the other agencies in town. Look, I say it many times, the city of St. Thomas does not have healthcare as part of its budget. So we can do housing. We can make housing happen through the help of all the support. But the other agencies in town, the CMHA, the ACT team, the downtown, the Community Care Health Center, all of these people, we all have to be a one partnerized piece towards the total solution, whether it's at the shelter, whether it's at the inn, or whether it's through supportive housing. We'll continue to do that. There is no doubt. We will not stop what we've started, right? We'll need to decide what the next layer of that is with our next council, right? And our strategic plan continues to talk that way.
And you can ask the provincial government for help, but at the end of the day, like in terms of mental health and healthcare, you've got to talk to your provincial representative. It's not something that the city can necessarily do that much on, which is, it seems like you would say, okay, this is happening in our city, we're going to go to the mayor, but how much power does the mayor have over healthcare?
None. But I have connections with people who do, and that helps a little. We have a great community outlook with our hospital, with the Community Care Health Center, with CMHA. And although I don't deliver it and can't possibly deliver it as the mayor, I can ask that they do, and how can we help do it? And so that's the way it looks. Yep.
So as a citizen who's concerned about this, how can a citizen encourage movement in the right direction? What's the best way for them to go forward?
Well, continue with this, continue to help with the fundraising through Indwell and our Inn to make them more secure in their funding in order to move the housing forward. Continue to talk to your members of parliament and your mayor, to your members of council and your mayor. I promoted all my guys, didn't I?
Yeah.
Your member of council and your mayor about how housing is first, and how things like the inn and supportive housing through Indwell and the other projects that we're doing with builders like Doug Terry or the YWCA and in town are the important things to work on and help fund them. Volunteer for your help too.
Absolutely. We've got another question in from Sean.
Right.
Following up on the last one, he's like, is that why the tents are taken down at First and Talbot within hours and tents are made hidden behind our businesses? These issues weren't here 3 to 4 years ago. Try the last 5 months.
Well, and you're right. It's been a great summer for that. But use our customer service, stthomas.ca, customer service at stthomas.ca, and every place that tents are being put up that shouldn't be there, they are moved. We have capacity at our shelter. We still have enough capacity to sleep everybody every night, all night in this town. And so I'm sorry, I can't tell you which ones are first. I talked about the Memorial Garden and saw tents there and immediately called it in, immediately removed. Had some, but we have our MOST team, our mental health support team in this community that we like to help go remove that rather than marching in with the police and removing it. And so we will continue to do it in the strategy of our bylaw of people, our MOST teams, the housing support team out of our housing office to help remove tents and help keep people find shelter, find their housing through the ways we have. Of course, right now with Queen Street under construction and very far along, looks like an April opening over on Queen Street of 45 new supportive housing. There'll be 45 more people selected out of what is our current homeless population to move into those houses, to housing there, to apartments there. Looking forward to Indwell's action on that and how soon we'll start to do it. But we're certainly reading some excellent stats Rail City Lofts has done for the 16 people in the micro apartments there. Look, if you're asking for me to say it's all perfect and it's fixed now, it's not. But these are promises we made 4 years ago during the last campaign, and promise kept on most of this stuff. But you can't build an apartment building in a year, and so
Mhm.
we have to come up with the land that the city owns and the funding from the provincial government, almost all of it from the provincial government, in order to do these. Because St. Thomas is setting the pace and doing some fantastic thing with homelessness and mental health, the provincial government's been pretty pleased to talk to us on this and to supply the next tranche of funding. So we'll
Yep.
just keep trying.
And speaking of that, the annex opening up this year has been really, really great.
Right. Look, Ginny and Don have been a great thing with the Grace Cafe,
Mhm.
and the work they've done there, with socializing for people who are homeless and near homeless.
Mhm.
But with now what they've started with the annex, we're seeing a lot more people having that conversation. I've been on drugs. I want to get off. I have
Yeah.
a mental health issue and I need help. It can't just be the CMHA or our hospital. It needs a full community approach
Mhm.
to make it happen.
All right. Now, we skipped last week, so then there were a bunch of council items that came up.
Yes.
I'm assuming it was a fairly long council.
Well, August often is, but there's
Mhm.
also 3 public meetings as part of it.
Mhm.
On things that things that are happening in our community. So I don't have my papers in front of me because I rushed back from Ottawa to be here for that. But
Yeah.
we'll save some of that even for next week because
Sure.
we don't have another council meeting
Mhm.
even next week. But we've got lots going on in our community this week. Rail City Music, it starts
Mhm.
tomorrow
Yep.
at Pinafore Park, and we want to make sure people know about that. Still looking for any more questions. That would be great too. But no, I did not go to Justin's house for dinner. All right.
Adam Montgomery saying we should be at Caps Off, so we need to beer to loosen up with all these hot topics.
I brought my Rail City beer at the fire hall tonight, and I will finish that. So
Yeah, but I think I'm going to pop over to Caps Off after this. All right. Sean's got another comment in here. So,
right.
Talbot Street business owner have spoken personally to homeless, and 85% of them are not from St. Thomas. How is the council going to explain how St. Thomas taxpayers are going to support people who have been transported here from elsewhere? Now, this is something we've talked about before.
At least a dozen times.
Mhm.
Look, I'll take any proof you have of people from out of town. Fine. And I'm not suggesting it's not. Even talking to Chief Harris, yes, of course. And we've got 2 or 3 people who might be new from out of town. But we do a by names list, which is an inventory of homeless in this community. We do the by names list, and then we verify it all the time. We as to whether we're finding people from out of town. Not suggesting no one ever comes. Not suggesting that at all. But it is not. We don't have a bus service from other communities, so there's no way for somebody to get here kind of on their own.
Yeah.
Right. And that was the other topic at AMO that I didn't discuss was regional transportation with the transportation minister. But suffice to say, working hard on it before Amazon gets built and the others. So we did that, but we continue to ask for whether it's Ginny at the Grace Cafe or our shelter alone. If someone comes into our shelter or goes into Ginny's shop and they're not recognizable, and most of the people are because they're there most days, we say, hey, where are you from? And I'm from Timmins. Well, would you like to go home? Do you have family there? Is there some way we can work it? We will work it out, right? But
talking to Chief Harris, like what he was saying was that we'll get those people back to the support systems that they have. So if someone's from Timmins, the St. Thomas Police Service,
where family is,
will help get them back there, and vice versa. So maybe if you're seeing someone come in, there's someone who's gone out from St. Thomas to another location
and have said, anybody can help me get home to St. Thomas?
Yeah.
Because I want to make amends with my family. I don't want to be here. So look, we'll continue to do it. I continue to share with everybody. There's cameras all along Talbot Street. I hear stories. Oh, there's a bus dropping people off. Well, great. Tell us what day and time. We'll pull the film and find out who kidnapped people and brought them here to St. Thomas. So,
I shouldn't laugh. It's
not funny, but you're right. This is the 15th.
We've heard it so many times, and there's been no hard proof of this.
Right.
So that's the hard part. Another comment from Sean is like, now, Joe, you no longer have my support. Verify to the public the list at the inn are the people lying as to where they are from.
I certainly am not daily active at the inn. I share conversation with the director and the board there and visit it, but I can't tell you the day-to-day occupation of how they track people and where they're from there. So I'm sorry I've lost your support on the fact that I've told you the truth of what's happening in St. Thomas, and we've worked hard to shelter the people of St. Thomas who need the shelter.
Yeah, and I mean there'd be privacy issues around that as well. Like
right.
I doubt the inn would be able to release lists to the public.
Well, and even so, what are we accomplishing? I mean, we work off numbers and we work off the by names list. The by names list is a verification of somebody using even 2 or 3 names in our systems, right? To make sure we're dealing with the same person, not the 3 aliases. So we do a pretty good job through our housing, our social assistance, through the inn, through Ginny at Grace Cafe and others to verify. And truly, what is the support needed for that person? And look, I recognize that in some cases the support needed is an opiate withdrawal. I mean, we need to do detox. We need to do from then a rehab system someplace, or regardless of the drug addiction, perhaps sometimes it's just a mental crisis. A mental illness crisis that we need to deal with. And we use all of our partners for all of that.
Absolutely. Question in from Leanne Barkwell. What are we able to do with all these fires and messes on the properties and behind businesses that are being made and created on a daily basis?
Well, first of all, every morning, if you see it, call customer service at stthomas.ca. If it's on our property or someone else's, we'll do our best to talk about how to best deal with it. We would love to stop anybody from setting a public fire in St. Thomas. And so if you have information, please report it the minute you see it. Our fire service and police service would love to deal with that more. Look, I mean, I went on Facebook today and somebody said, hey, look at this. And it's a pile of garbage in a dumpster. Yeah, there's garbage in a dumpster. I get it. And if it's just before garbage pickup, it'll be that way. If someone's broken in the night and dispersed the garbage, yes, call customer service at stthomas.ca and we'll make sure the garbage collection group or our works group goes out and deals with it, right? The other comments on it today were, what, did you want Joe to run down with his trash bag? I mean, it really is about using the service properly and talking about it properly. So
the question in from Sean and a statement as well. He says he had vandalism at his business and the police camera is half a block away. I reported it 2 hours later and had no response from the camera. The recorded info from the camera is erased 72 hours later. That's correct, for privacy reasons.
Privacy.
He says, I reported it 3 hours later, so the cameras are only as good as the ones recording and using the info recorded. Sean, yeah.
It's true. It's true. We are currently talking about a new camera right now at Princess and Talbot, and we have approval for it now. But each of these takes complete the cost of doing it, of course, the cost of the installation, and then also where is it aimed? Because it can't be aimed at somebody's residence or those types of things too. But I can't speak to it more than the police chief. Perhaps we should have the chief on again about cameras. But we know we have a lot of individual personal residences and businesses in this community have their own cameras too. And we'd love you every time you think that there's something on your film. I was at my own business the other day when the police came in and said there'd been an armed robbery at one of the stores in the plaza, and did our film, and we gave them all the film we had, just because then they could see the car leaving the scene and maybe get the license plate. So we're all pretty cooperative. We try to be in our community as cooperative as we can. I wish I was the mayor of a community with no crime. I wish I was the mayor of a community with no troubles whatsoever, but it's not. With a growing community we will have it. It's, are we taking the right steps to work on it from a housing point of view, from a mental health point of view, from an addictions point of view? Of course we are, and we're trying our best.
Absolutely. And just to jump back on Leanne Barkwell's comment, like Mayor Joe said, if you do see a problem, call the customer service line, call the fire department, call the police.
Or it's a customer service email. It's a customer service form on the St. Thomas website.
Mhm.
Look, if you put it on Facebook,
Yeah.
I might see it 24 hours later, but it will not have been fixed. So
Mhm.
please let the city know. And if we are not being adequate or fast enough, we'll fix that, because
Mhm.
we can fix our customer service system, but we can't fix it if there's not communication, if somebody isn't telling us what's going on.
Sure. And if you tag someone on Facebook, there might be privacy issues where, like, you tag them, they know they've been tagged, but they don't know who tagged them or where the comment is. So you might be like, I tagged them, they should know. But the reality is, due to privacy issues around Facebook, they might not be able to actually see what you said, so they won't be able to deal with it. So you might be getting mad about something that could be addressed if you contacted customer service either by the phone or email, or just talking to somebody like a counselor.
Absolutely.
All right. Now, let's hop on something more. We've talked about the Arts and Music Festival, which is coming up this weekend, which is going to be amazing.
A lot of fun, a lot of music, a lot of fun in the park.
Mhm.
I've been pushing for years to use Pinafore Park as our festival grounds, and now we're doing it.
It's so good.
We've been pushing hard to get food trucks at these events and other events.
Yep.
Right. We do more in our community than deal with the downtown.
You wouldn't know that from all the comments, but it's true.
2 or 3 great events already this year in the downtown.
Yeah.
So, but now we're moving this one to Pinafore Park.
Mhm.
And this is a move. It's the old Iron Horse Festival, and they're really trying their best to regenerate an arts and music festival. Let's all get out there tomorrow. It opens, and let's get out there over this weekend and see the great bands and know what you could do.
Absolutely. And there's going to be a mural that Sarah Van Pelt
Yes.
is working on. It's a collaborative mural. She's done the whole outline for it.
Right.
So if you go to the festival, you can help paint this mural.
Paint it. No, I'm
It's
not
so
artistic
cool.
enough. I've tried. Right? I've seen your stuff. I can. Yeah.
Oh,
By
I
the
bet.
way, I was looking at your stuff at Caps Off the other day, and
Yeah.
there's 2 there I must have. So yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
I love it.
Yeah.
And we've got other great music. There's another music festival after this one, which is in
Right.
September. It's the Harvest Festival.
Right. Yeah.
And there's an amazing announcement today. Eric Cormier, if you've ever gone in Streamliners, one of our
Right.
supporters,
Right.
you've met Eric. He's an amazing musician, great talent. And he has been selected to be the Grand Marshal for the next month's Summer Harvest Festival in September 23rd to 25th.
Perfect.
In Pinafore Park as well.
Again, use of the best place on the face of the earth,
Yeah.
Pinafore Park, as a way of showing off St. Thomas. Look, as I said, I was in Ottawa, and I had a lot of other municipalities, mayors, especially from London, and the area, come to us and said, "I've just am amazed at your murals. I'm amazed at what you've done in St. Thomas, what St. Thomas art has been allowed to grow to." I was at the Renaissance, or what's our downtown car thing?
Nostalgia Nights.
Nostalgia Nights. How did I get the Renaissance out of that?
Well, it's kind of like a renaissance for the automobile industry.
He said, I was ashamed of my old car, and it's really good, right? Because look at all you brought to town and what you're doing. Let's cheer it up a little bit, folks. I'm not saying we have no problems, but let's talk about what we really do right rather than anything else, right?
And just to jump back on Adam Montgomery's comment, he says, "I have no doubt you could take down Al Capone, Joe, given enough time." I would agree with that.
I don't know about that.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, right.
Were you behind that? Were you around back then?
I was around then. Yes. Yes. And then that Pinafore Park has come a long way over a number of years, Adam.
And it has.
And it doesn't have to come along. It was always a great park with a fantastic old ballpark in it.
Yeah.
Great place to watch baseball. We did that the other day with the Jack Graney thing, but with a dance pavilion that is second. I really would love to get that dance pavilion
that'd be amazing
from a dancing point of view. All right. And all the other family pavilions for how many family reunions? We
had the Lang family reunion there this summer. It was great.
And
splash pad.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, right.
No more swans though.
Well, okay, and we know we had trouble with the swans not mating and what we needed to. Okay, but
in a good place though.
We got
not heaven.
No, we put them in a good swan mating place, so they're probably having more fun than they used to. But look at Pinafore Park, Waterworks Park. Take a look at One Password Park.
Yeah,
right?
it's incredible.
I'm not saying I'm a great soccer player.
My niece is though, and I was taking pictures while capturing family memories. I can't. Well, Lily was with us, and she was just loving it. I'm so excited. Yeah. Oh,
look, folks, we're so pleased with this community. I'm happy to be able to say what we've got accomplished in the last 4 years. Another 4 years coming. I'm ready to do it. So let's make sure that we we pull the oars in the same direction. There is things we fix. And I thank Sean for comments tonight, Leanne for comments tonight. We're hearing you. We know we have to do it. That's the reason we have Mayor's Update and have for the last 4 years been openly listening and transparent with what's going on in our community. And we're at the fire hall and the alarms.
I think we got to get out of here now.
Yeah, or stay out of the way of the truck leaving on the fire. So thank you all, folks. We'll see you next Wednesday at 6:30 for Mayor's Update.
Have a great night, guys.